Hi fairies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fifi. It's so nice to have you here. I hope you stay a while. Today we are going to be starting a very interesting reading vlog. In this video, we are going to be reading a five-star prediction, a book on my August TBR, and a new release. And together, these books will come to form the ultimate reading vlog. So yeah, I'm very excited to film this video. I'm just excited to read, honestly. I've been kind of on a roll, like no shade. I've already read like 11 books, I think, this month, and I just feel very much incited to keep reading. So the first book we will be reading in this video, which is a five-star prediction, is this one, The Way of All Flesh by Ambrose Parry. I've heard great things about this book and it has really high ratings on Goodreads. Edinburgh, 1847. Will Raven is a medical student apprenticing for the brilliant and renowned Dr. Simpson. Sarah Fisher is Simpson's housemaid and has all of Raven's intelligence but none of his privileges. As bodies begin to appear across the old town, Raven and Sarah find themselves propelled headlong into the darkest shadows of Edinburgh's underworld. And if either of them are to make it alive, they will have to work together to find out who is responsible for the gruesome deaths. So obviously it's giving like mystery thriller, but with that historical fiction aspect. And if you've watched any of my recent reading vlogs, you know that I've been really on a historical fiction kick. I've just been loving the genre right now. It's giving me so much life. So yeah, I am really excited to read this book. I have high hopes that it will in fact be a five-star. Hopefully it doesn't let me down, at least not too much. We're going to start it now. It's actually very gloomy right now, hence my, somewhat bad lighting. So forgive me for that. But it's currently raining. I don't even know if you can hear that. It's been raining every day for the past month, I guess. That's just the season we're in right now. So definitely not summer vibes here. It's kind of giving fall, and I'm excited because even though we don't really have seasons in Nigeria where I live, I love like fall and the vibes surrounding fall, especially online. So it's giving fall vibes, and the book as well is giving like dark, dreary fall vibes. So yeah. I've made it to page 107 of this book, and I would say that I am really liking it. I'm liking the writing a lot. The story is set in Victorian England, Edinburgh to be exact, in the year 1847. I think I've already said that. Because of that, though, we have this old timey English type of writing, which is very serious, but like slightly humorous. We have our main character, Raven, who apparently has daddy issues and is in debt to some really shady people, but now he is working as an apprentice for this very popular, very renowned doctor. This doctor obviously does general treatment of various ailments, and so does Raven, but he mostly specializes in the birth of children and women's health. So we are seeing a lot of that actually in this book, especially in the day and age that this is set in, and how there was just so much prejudice against women in that time. That brings us to our favorite main character, Sarah Fisher, who is a housemaid in this house where our main character has moved into to be with this doctor and work as an apprentice. From what we know, Sarah is like very into medicine. She's very enamored by it all. She has a lot of family members that were doctors and, a part of the medical system essentially. But true to the time, she's not allowed to practice, she's not allowed to study, she's not allowed to get any actually good jobs, and the only job she was able to get is the job of a housemaid. And it's sad because you can tell that she's so intelligent and so brilliant and will do so well as a doctor or something thereabout, but she just isn't given that opportunity. And we are seeing so many situations of prejudice against not only women but lower class people. And I love how that is depicted in this book. I am curious to see if the author gives actual commentary about that or just is portraying the times. I'm not going to lie though, this first 100 pages were kind of not boring because I wasn't bored, but I can see how a lot of people might find it boring because there wasn't a lot going on. We're being introduced to the situation and the characters. There were a number of things that happened within these 100 pages, but it was feeling a bit mundane. Personally, though, as a medical student, I am really liking it because I like seeing all the medical topics being talked about and the conversations that are being had about it and the scenarios that are being portrayed concerning all of that. I really do like that it's done in a realistic way, especially considering the time that this book is set in. It's just sad and unfortunate to see how men really did not like women. Obviously, it can be argued that even right now, men barely like women, but back then it was just way worse how we were basically just objects to carry children. And the fact that there was a very specific limit on what women could do and study and become is just sad. And it's just heartbreaking that there was a point in time where people really, went for things like this and people really were doing this. There's this paragraph that I took notice of in the last chapter I read where we have a higher doctor in this midwifery space talking to our main character Raven, and he says, "This is a wider field than you understand, one that is even now opening up to new and lucrative possibilities. You need to think beyond babies and more about the women who bear them. There are all manner of new and exotic treatments for the various maladies the fairer sex seem prone to: galvanism, uterine manipulation, scientific treatments for that perennial female affliction, hysteria. There is so much money to be made from unhappy women and their exasperated husbands." Like how they were literally basically preying on women. And it's sad. It's sad. We haven't really gotten to the main crux of this book. We have just been introduced to it where there are several women that have died, and it all boils down to a particular doctor or somebody that seems a little bit versed in that field that is taking advantage of women that don't want to have children, like prostitutes, sex workers. And he is telling them that, okay, he will remove their uterus so they, don't have children, but he is not the best. Okay, he is not a very good doctor. Like it's giving all these doctors that will tell, vulnerable women, "Come, I'm going to give you ass shots, I'm going to give you, silicone in your boobs, in your this," and you see those women end up dying. That's basically the same thing where these women are going to have their uterus removed and it just kills them. That's basically the mystery aspect of this book where we are trying to find out who that person is. And yeah, I'm very excited actually to continue into this book. I feel like the further we get into it, the more I will be more invested. Right now, I'm not loving it, but I am very intrigued and I'm very enamored by the entire situation. So one of the sex workers that passed away was actually a friend of our main character Raven, and he is currently grappling with the guilt of giving her some money right before she died because apparently this money was used to undergo this procedure. So he's like very keen on actually finding out what the hell happened and who this person is that did this to her. I'm not going to sit here and act like he is like a good person because he really wasn't, but it makes sense for the time that this book is set in. We had a chapter where he met our female main character Sarah, and he already was being like condescending to her because she was a woman, and you know something that she said which was actually true and right. He kind of went against her on it, and then he eventually was embarrassed, and it's just like good for you. Right now there's no love lost between two of them, so I'm curious to see how that changes. Hey guys, it's literally 6 a.m. I've been up all night. I just finished filming a video, but I thought that I would come and give you an update about this book. I am currently on chapter 46, page 370. I have about 90 pages left, and I am really loving this book. Like it's giving five-star energy. I'm really loving the writing of this book. I'm loving the plotting. Some people might find it a bit slow, but I personally am really loving it because it has that very specific slow burn that keeps you just interested enough to want to keep going. Personally though, it's keeping me very interested. I'm loving the characters. I'm loving how everything is coming to light and how things are being unraveled. I think I kind of spoiled the main review for myself because I was trying to see how many pages are in the book, and then I saw something on the final page, so that was a bummer. I honestly am just really having a great time. I'm loving this book so much, and I can't wait to see how it ends. I have less than 3 chapters left. The thing that I thought would happen, like the final reveal, has happened, but it seems like it's about to take a different turn, and I'm like kind of gagged, like, oh my god. I finished this book yesterday, as you saw, but I wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of let it stew and marinate and get my thoughts together about it. But I really, really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really, really good. I loved the writing. I thought it was so serious, but also had slight tinges of humor that was incorporated that I genuinely really loved and resonated with. I also really loved the characters. Honestly, they felt so real to me and so true to the times as well. I loved how this book stayed true to the times that it was set in, but still was able to tackle things like misogyny and sexism. And in this time where feminism wasn't even anywhere in the question, it was very nice to see that even though there were still some very unfortunate scenarios of blatant misogyny and sexism and just like hatred and belittling of women, unfortunately. I loved how medical this book was. I would say for some people it might feel a little bit textbookish, like the author is just trying to impart their knowledge about all these medical terms and scenarios, especially at this point in time where they were still just figuring things out, especially with women's health and children, stuff like that. And it was quite gory, okay? It was quite gory. So keep that in mind if you're easily squirmish, because as somebody that is already conversant with medical terms and scenarios, stuff like that, I even felt very queasy at some of the things that were happening and some of the unfortunate events that were going on in this book. So keep that in mind. The final review of this book was a little bit predictable, I won't lie, but I like how it came to be and I like what came of it. Okay. So yeah. I really, really did enjoy it, honestly, and I would definitely recommend it. This is why I love historical books, historical fictions. I don't think I've read a historical fiction that has let me down, at least so far. This one definitely has mystery thriller elements to it, but all in all, it was a historical fiction and I really, really enjoyed this. There are two things I found out after reading this book. First of all, Ambrose Parry is a pseudonym for a couple. Okay, they write this book together, and apparently the husband, Chris, is a best-selling multi-award winning author of over 20 novels, and his wife, Marissa, is a consultant anesthetist of 20 years experience whose research for her master's degree in the history of medicine uncovered the material upon which this series is based. So that's the second thing that I found out. This is a series. There are about like 3 to 4 or actually 5 books in this series, which is crazy. I feel like it could have been wrapped up here. So now I'm very intrigued as to what goes on in the rest of the series. Definitely I'm going to continue it. But the fact that there are two people that wrote this book of different backgrounds essentially makes so much sense. The husband being an author, a well-renowned author, and the wife being an aesthetist, it makes so much sense as to the things that happened in this book and the motivations of the characters in this book. I always love when the author has a personal element in their book, and I definitely enjoyed this book for what it was. Okay, this was a 5-star prediction, and I'm sure the overarching question is, was it in fact a 5-star? I don't think so. I don't think it was a 5-star. I want to say that it was a 5-star for the sake of this video, but it didn't necessarily give me the 5-star feelings. Like, even though I enjoyed it and I had a great time reading it, it didn't give me 5-star feelings. I think I'm going to give it 4.5. I don't know exactly why I'm doing that, because there's not a thing in this book that I can actually point out and say, oh, I didn't like this, or I didn't enjoy this. I just feel like 4.5 is exactly what it gave to me. We are going to start our next book. This is Blood on the Ice House Wall by Jessica Mead. I got this e-arc from NetGalley, I think 2 weeks ago, and the author actually also followed me on Instagram, which was like so cool. I followed her back and I went through her page, and it seems like she's very passionate about the story. I mean, there's no author, I guess, that would release a story without being passionate about it, but I loved hearing her talk about it. And yeah, I'm just really excited. The premise says a dead body is found in the woods, ritually sacrificed. For centuries, supernatural forces battled to control an ancient source of power, but the well of magic was sealed to end the fighting. Now someone is trying to awaken it, and they don't care about the trail of blood that they leave along the way. Foster siblings Mandy and Ben find themselves flung into a world of witches and werewolves, dragons and dreams, magic and murder. Protecting those they love will come at a cost higher than they could imagine and require them to make sacrifices they could never foresee. So it's giving fantasy mystery thriller, which is so intriguing. I don't think I've ever really read anything like that, and I'm so excited, honestly. I just feel like it's going to be a really good book, probably a highly rated one, and I'm excited to get into it. So I'm going to start that now, and when I get a little bit more into it, I will give you my initial thoughts. So it's the next day. I have made it to chapter 18 of this book. I'm about 35% into it, and this book is so interesting. It's so weird but so interesting. I'm having a really good time. There is a lot going on, so much so that sometimes it feels like maybe a little too much is going on. Like we've had the introduction of witches, of werewolves, this magical well that is the source of power for all of these entities, and has now, after so many years, come back into effect. And we see now how that power is basically turning someone who used to be a good person into just something completely different from who she was, like just completely turning her into a maniac, a devil essentially. And it's sad, but it's also quite realistic. I don't want to spoil this book, so I'm not sure how much I can say, but I can't lie, it is feeling a little bit outlandish. Like some of the things that are introduced and we are seeing in this book are just like too unrealistic, and obviously that is the point. Like it is a fantasy, you know, magical realism type book, but it's also like a sci-fi type book, and it's so interesting. Like I like how the author has put the story together, and I like how things are coming to fruition, but I also don't love some parts of the writing, because some parts of the writing makes it feel just senseless. I don't mean that in like the worst possible way, okay? It just feels like we are going from place A to place B without a clear path. Like we were just in this spot, how do we get to this other spot? Like what is going on? The writing is feeling a bit clunky and distorted in that way, but I do like how simplistic it is, with like occasional hard-hitting lines. And yeah, it's just like fun so far. I've never really read anything like this, so I'm very much intrigued. I'm very much having a good time. I'm very much entertained, and I do think these characters are very much fleshed out. I will say though, there is a romance situation that's kind of going on between two characters, and I don't like the fact that we start this off as one of the characters being underaged. Like I obviously don't think they will actually get together until she, you know, maybe turns 18 or so, but we're already seeing them have feelings for each other, and it's just, I don't know, things like that just ick me out a little bit, because it's like, why couldn't she just have been 18 already? Like why do we have to, like, it's giving grooming, you know, like why does she have to be 16, you know? So that's kind of, I want to root for them because it is a sapphic romance, but it's like, why do we have to give it like that weird situation? Why couldn't it just have been a straightforward thing, you know? So yeah, aside from that, I'm really enjoying the book. It's very easy to get through. Once I pick it up, I'm very much immersed and having a good time. It's a very complex world that we have going on here, and I'm just like very intrigued by it all, because I feel like this book could be considered a bit of a horror book, but it obviously has that fantasy sci-fi situation going on, but it has like a bit of a mystery thriller aspect of it. Like it's so complex, it's so well-rounded. I just wish that the writing could be a little bit better. It's good and I'm having a good time reading it. I just feel like it could have been edited a little bit more, some things could have been changed, done better, I don't know, but I'm enjoying it so far. So yeah, I'm going to get back to reading. Whatever happens, obviously I will let you know. This book just keeps getting crazier. Like I've literally never read anything like this. I'm so gagged, but also like confused, and also like, what the hell is going on? Okay, since I spoke to you, I have made it to chapter 34. I'm about 70 something percent into the book, and we have fairies, we have time travel, we have magic wands, we have this magic librarian that is also like kind of evil, with this magic library that has information about literally everything. Like it's so weird. It's so weird. Like our main character has gone back in time, and now she's trying to stop something from happening. Like I don't want to spoil it obviously, but I'm actually glad. Like I'm entertained and I'm having a great time. I just don't know about the writing. It's just not flowing seamlessly enough for me, and that's kind of annoying me, because I would really like to like this book. Like I would love to love this book, because it's like cool, it's fun, it's unique, unique enough, I guess. I just wish the writing and the pacing were better, because now we are at this spot where it's a bit slow, like it's a bit mundane. Yes, our main character is working towards something, but we are essentially just following her live her life now in the past, and it's just a weird situation, especially when you think about it with the whole romance with this other person. Like, it's so weird, it's so warped, it's kind of icky, because I don't know, I just don't like things that are not straightforward. That's just my issue. But generally, I am enjoying the book. Like I said, I'm entertained, I'm having a good time. It's very easy to read, very easy to get through, and yeah, I'm just going to keep reading. Honestly, I think the next time I speak to you, I would have finished the book. So yeah, I guess we'll see where I land finally and what my final thoughts are. I really love the sapphic and asexual representation. I just wish I loved the situation surrounding this romance, because it would be really, really cute. But having the fact that she was 16 when they met and started, it's just, it's holding me back. Okay, it really is. But they are cute. I mean, it's cute. Everything has gone to shit. Okay, the last few chapters, so much has happened, and yet most of it felt quite predictable. I did predict a lot of the reviews that we got, and yeah, I don't know how to feel about that, because yes, I was a bit taken aback with some of the things that happened, but the rest of them just felt like, yeah, that is what would happen, you know what I mean. So I don't know how to feel about that necessarily, but we have one chapter left and an epilogue, so let's finish that together, shall we? So as you saw, I just finished the book. I'm like conflicted. I'm very conflicted, because I think I really did like the book. This honestly could have been a 5 star. Like, I feel like so many things could have been done differently that would inspire me to give this book a 5 star, but unfortunately that did not happen. Okay, but it's not a bad book by any means. I actually really, really like it, and I'm very excited for the second one, because it is a duology if I'm not mistaken, and I'm excited to see how all this pans out, because like I said, these last 3 chapters, so many things happened, so many things were revealed, a lot of them were predictable, so keep that in mind. Much of it was a bit shocking, okay, but yeah, I liked it a lot. Like I said, I just wish the writing could have been somewhat better. I don't even know what exactly I would have wanted, but I just think some things could have been done differently. As I've already said, I feel like I'm being redundant, but yeah, that's just it. I did like the magic system a lot. I love how detailed it was, and I love how complex this world is. Like, it's so all inclusive, it's crazy, and I really did appreciate it. You can tell that the author took a lot of time to do all these research about all these magical elements. The folklorish elements that were incorporated into this book is very telling of how, personal this book is to the author, and how much research and thought was put into the creating and writing of this book. I just wish she would have taken a different route with the writing, and I wish the pacing would have been a little bit better. I think the plot was really good, because somehow this book is kind of a circle. Like, we literally back where we started from. Okay, we know a few things more. Obviously, we know the entire world now, and I guess not the entire world actually, but we know as much as our main character knows, essentially. Actually, we even know more than our main character knows, which is so cool. I'm very curious to see, how that pans out in the second book. It is crazy though how we literally know so much now, yet it feels like we're just back where we started. This book is just a circle. That's literally all I can use to really define it, because everything is connected, everything comes back around. It's so weird, it's so cool, and it's so intentional, and I really, really appreciated the thoughts and the effort. So yeah, I think I'm going to settle on a 4 star, because I really, really did like it. I just wish some things could have been different. I literally just spent the past 4 hours of my life rotting here trying to finish this book, and it was a very good read. But I think I'm going to wind down now, settle in, watch some YouTube videos, catch up on a show or two, And yeah, I'll see you guys soon for our third and final book of this video. Hey guys, it's been a while, okay, since I filmed my last clip. As you saw, I started this book. This is going to be the last book in this video, a book from my September TBR, Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste NG. A lot has happened since that last clip, okay? I just had so much going on in my life and I was entering something of a book slump, not necessarily a book slump, but I just was not feeling books. So I put this down for a while, a long while, actually, like 2 weeks. I did get to page 122, chapter 9. I made it this far in, about 30% into it. I'm going to read you the blurb of this book so you know what it's about. Mia Warren, an enigmatic artist and single mother, arrives in this idyllic bubble with her teenage daughter Pearl and rents a house from the Richardsons. Soon, Mia and Pearl become more than just tenants. All 4 Richardson children are drawn to the alluring mother-daughter pair, but Mia carries with her a disregard for the rules that threatens to upend this carefully ordered community. When the Richardsons' friends attempt to adopt a Chinese-American baby, a custody battle erupts that dramatically divides the town and puts Mia and Mrs. Richardson on opposing sides. Mrs. Richardson becomes determined to uncover the secrets in Mia's past, but her obsession will come at an unexpected and devastating cost to her own family and Mia's. So far, we have seen Mia and her daughter move into this very carefully constructed town with very specific rules and ideologies, and they have moved into this house belonging to the Richardsons. Obviously, Mia's daughter Pearl forms a relationship with the Richardson children, and we are already seeing how, you know, that is already not looking like the best idea. Okay, there's so much actually going on with different members of this family, and they are just quite enamored with Mia and her daughter. It's very weird but also very intriguing. I'm really liking this book. I think it's going to be very drama filled and I'm here for that. So far it's already quite drama filled. I'm also really liking the writing. It's nothing too deep, it's nothing overly exciting, but it's passing the point across well enough, and it is actually a bit lyrical. It gets lyrical at some point, but it's still very simplistic, very straightforward, very to the point. One can say that the story is a bit mundane right now, but I am enjoying seeing their lives and I'm interested in seeing, you know, how all this basically collapses. I'm going to get back to reading this book and I will give you an update when I get further into it. I am now 70% into this book. I've just made it to chapter 15 and I have to say that I'm really liking this book, okay? I wasn't really sure at first. I think the first 10% was a little bit slow and then it picked up, and honestly it hasn't slowed down ever since, at least in my opinion. I'm just really loving and enjoying this story. It's so nuanced, okay? I already told you the blurb of it, but basically we have Mia, who is an artist with a daughter called Pearl, and we have just gotten her entire backstory and why she feels so strongly about this situation where a white woman has adopted a Chinese baby, and this Chinese baby is the child of a co-worker of hers who is Chinese, and you know, had a little bit of a hard time in her life because the baby father abandoned her. She wasn't really doing well and she left this baby at a fire station, just wanting the baby to have a better life. In the few months that she has been away from the baby, she has gotten her life back on track a little bit. She's doing so much better, even though she's still like poor obviously, but you know, it's a situation where somebody has already kind of claimed the baby, okay? She abandoned the child. At that point, it really does feel like you have no right anymore to want this child. But now that she has her life back together, she is wanting her child back. But this child was already in the process of being adopted by this white family. They've been struggling for almost 10 years trying to have a child, and it just hasn't worked out for them. And this really felt like their moment. And honestly, I feel like I can see both sides. I really don't know which side I should be on, because obviously there's the whole situation of a white family adopting an Asian child and them being like, oh, they are going to make sure they teach her about her history and her culture, and it's like, how can you really do that though when you're not a part of that culture? Like, can you really teach a culture that you really have never been a part of? What are you going to do? Like, go to YouTube or use ChatGPT? Like, it's a very interesting situation because they have been trying to adopt a child, and finally,
they got the call that there's this child, if they are willing, and they are willing, and it seems like they have good intentions. Okay, they really want to take care of this child and they are doing the best that they can, but it's obviously the whole situation of the child should be, or probably should be, with their actual mother, who is now saying that she wants her back. Like, it's just so nuanced. I feel like I can see all sides. Aside from that though, we have the Richardson's family, who are best friends with the white family that is trying to adopt the child, and Mia is, obviously supporting the Chinese woman. Mia and her daughter are tenants of the Richardson family. Mia also works as like a house cleaner for their family, and her daughter is very, very close to all the children in that family. So there's just so much tension. We have Mrs. Richardson being so angry that Mia is going out of her way to basically support this Chinese woman and upend and hurt her friends, and now she's trying to dig in on Mia's past, and just so much going on. And I just feel like I'm connecting so much. I think the characters feel so freaking real. This is now a show, if I'm not mistaken, and I can't wait to watch it because I feel like these characters can literally just walk right off the page. They feel very real to me, and I'm just interested in seeing how all this unfolds. We have this much left. I'm interested in seeing where this goes. There's obviously about to be a court case, a trial, where they will see who gets the baby essentially, and I'm kind of scared, but also I don't know how to feel. Like, I don't know exactly how to feel, because this child would very obviously be taken care of with this white family, but also, is it good that she's being separated from her mother and her culture? I don't know. I really don't know. Let me know though if you've read this book and what your thoughts are, and just what side you are on. Yeah, I'm really, really liking it. I can't wait to finish it, and when I do, I will let you know my final thoughts. I've just finished this book finally, and I have to say that I really, really did like it. I liked it a lot. I thought the writing was pretty good, nothing too deep, nothing too flowery per se. It was just very intricate and detailed enough, and intuitive, I guess I would say. I feel like I've said this before already, but it was just straightforward to the point, passing the point across very intently and quickly, and I really did enjoy the writing. I also really liked the story. It's definitely a books about people type of plot where there's no actual discernible plot, but like something happens at the beginning and then we spend the entirety of the book finding out how we got there in the first place. And I just loved following these people and seeing how all these things unfolded. The whole custody battle between the Chinese mother who gave up her child, then wanted her back, but the child was already being adopted by a white family, was so intriguing to me. At first I was like, oh, I don't know whose side I'm really on, because she did give the child up, okay, and those people were good people per se, but like as we got further into it, I noticed that they were just culturally ignorant and racially ignorant. They're the type of people that are like, oh, they don't see race, and I think that in itself is a problem. Saying you don't see race is kind of racist. They just had no real clue how they were going to incorporate her culture into her life. Like, all the things that they said they were going to do were just like honestly kind of racist, just stereotypical things. She was talking about how she read her a story time from a book, but apparently the book in itself is stereotypical, hinging on stereotypes of Chinese and Asian people. We just ended up seeing how ignorant they were, and I don't want to spoil it obviously, but I do like how things ended up. Like, it was kind of, I guess, wrong, but I liked how it is, because at the end of the day, that's just the way it should be. It was also sad seeing how things fell apart between the Richardson children and Pearl, Mia's daughter, and just how that ended. I feel like this could have a sequel. I don't know, I actually need to look it up, but maybe there could be a sequel type situation, because I do want to know, you know, what happens after all this, like where they all end up, and if they end up being happy. Like, I'm very curious as to all that, especially with Izzy and Pearl, and what happens with, you know, Lexi. Like, it's a whole thing, and I'm just so intrigued by it. I really did like the story a lot, and I loved the writing, and I just loved reading this book. Honestly, I think it was a very solid read. As far as rating goes, I think I'm going to give it like a 4, maybe a 4.5. I've kind of been, you know, bouncing around 4 star, 4.5, maybe 4.25, because it definitely was not a 5 star, and it was quite slow in the beginning, but it was really good at the end of it all. Let me know if you've read this book. Let me know if you've read any of the books that we read in this video, because we have come to the end of this video. Just talk to me down below. I love reading and replying comments. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram if you want to be book besties or just besties in general. I would really love and appreciate that. I just created a real bookstagram, so go check that out if you'd like. You can also follow me on TikTok. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.